This segment of the news is brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.
Welcome back. Opposition Shadow Transport Minister Glenys Hannah Martin sounding off on Wednesday's heads of agreement signing between the government and Global Ports Holding, saying there were some glaring deficiencies that the Prime Minister failed to disclose. In a statement yesterday evening, the Inglerston MP said the Prime Minister sought to mesmerize or dazzle the Bahamian people with rolling off citations of $1 million here and $1 million there, which he says will go to various entities on behalf of the Bahamian people. What he either overlooked or deliberately omitted, she says, were the critical specifics of the deal. This is a gross oversight and is completely unacceptable, she adds. All in all, she says, the agreement is yet another example of relinquishing Bahamian assets, whether by long lease or otherwise, to foreigners, and the further marginalization of the Bahamian people. The control of our most strategic international port should not have been handed to foreigners, she adds. Global Exports Holdings is expected to employ no less than 80% Bahamians in the phase of construction and is expected to be completed by 2022. Opposition Chairman Fred Mitchell's calling on the Prime Minister to address the nation on what they should do to adequately prepare for Hurricane Dorian. According to Mitchell, PLP supporters have been calling in and complaining that no one from the government has distributed sufficient notices about the hurricane.
It appears that what people are requiring is a specific set of instructions about what the government expects in terms of the track of the hurricane and what preparations ought to be made for hurricane preparedness. The fact is, and I had this experience before when Andrew came in 1992. There was a new prime minister at the time, and just caught unawares by the fact that the storm was coming. And I said to then Prime Minister Ingram, who was up in Grand Bahama, that the country really requires the person who's the head of the government to say, look, this is a serious storm and we need to take this seriously. That's just the psychology of our country.
PLP supporters, he said, are saying the absence of information has left them on their own.
They're left to their own devices, which is to rely on the Weather Channel and all the other channels that people have about whether the hurricane is coming, not coming, so on and so forth. The only official thing that I have seen so far is Bahamas Air has said that they are not changing their schedule, that there's nothing which they see which causes them to change their schedule. They said that they would continue to monitor the situation come Saturday, but as for Thursday and Friday, the schedule remains the same. But the government itself has not actually said anything.
The PLP chairman's calling on a political figure to address the public on the hurricane. His comments come after a NEMA press conference yesterday, where NEMA officials advised the public to prepare themselves for the hurricane. Dorian's expected to make landfall in the Bahamas on Saturday. Taking another step towards expanding access to preschool education, the government yesterday inked a deal for the Private Preschool Partnership. It's a program designed to situate public school kids in approved private schools, and with this agreement, participating private preschools will accommodate those youngsters that government schools cannot. Here's Education Minister Jeffrey Lloyd.
May I say at the very outset that I am deeply grateful and impressed with where we have come in this very, in my mind, most important initiative. And that is to enable the education, the training, and the conditioning of the most precious of our human beings, and that is our babies.
The minister added that over 40% of students entering grade 1 aren't adequately prepared.
Well, dear friends, they're not ready for grade 1. They probably ain't gonna be ready for grade 3, grade 7, grade 9, or life after school, certainly the university. And so it is critical that we establish the foundation and we establish it properly.
44 providers accepted the offer of public-private partnership and entered into contracts with the Early Childhood Education section of the Department of Education when the initiative was launched in November of 2018. Minister Lloyd said he looked forward to a fruitful, beneficial, and in some instances, profitable relationship moving forward. And our final stories up next.
This segment of the news has been brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.